activities you are about to witness are extremely dangerous and should not be attempted by anyone under any circumstance. Viewer discretion advised.
You're watching Ripley's, the most unbelievable show on television.
Little boy has led a painful life. Now Ripley's helps bring him some relief. This little boy was born with a deformity that made his feet explode in size. Now see how Ripley's is helping him leave his pain in the past. Amazing stories and unbelievable people. Ripley's been or not.
Imagine having feet so big that you couldn't fit them into an ordinary pair of shoes. Well, Gordon McGuire lives this painful nightmare every single day. So Ripley's has stepped in to change his life.
Gordon McGuire is a prisoner in his own home, unable to drive a car or even walk down the street because, believe it or not, his feet never stopped growing. Gloria Steakmiller and her husband Joe were delighted with the birth of their second son.
He had the most beautiful face that ever was.
But just after birth, Gloria learned that something was very wrong.
We found that Gordon had huge feet and this big lumpy mass that the doctor said maybe someday would absorb.
Doctors determined that Gordon's condition is a mixture of two horrifying diseases: Proteus, also known as Elephant Man Syndrome, and Klippel-Trenaunay, or massive feet. He's also diagnosed with scoliosis, an abnormal curvature of the spine. At the age of 3, Gordon became a case study for the medical journals when the toddler underwent a landmark operation to remove the large melon-sized mass on his side, a surgery that could have killed him.
All of a sudden, this mass that was just kind of oozy got very hard, and we were very frightened, and we took him right to the doctor, and he said, "This has to come off."
Miraculously, Gordon survived the delicate surgery, although it left his spinal condition near impossible to fix. Looking at Gordon, you would never know there was anything different about this child. That is, until you looked at his feet, which were abnormally large and misshapen. With help from Social Security, thousands of dollars were spent trying to reconstruct his feet.
The other children did tease him some, I'm sure, just always looking at his feet. But we had a wonderful shoemaker, a little Italian man that made shoes for him from his very first ones on up.
Gordon's family always encouraged him to ignore his differences. He would go on to earn a place not only on the high school baseball team, but on the football and wrestling teams as well. But eventually, the shoemaker died, and Gordon struggled to create a new footwear himself, adapting one particular brand of shoe that was no more than a partial fit.
We found these doctor's soles that if you pulled the insert out, I could get my foot into, and if it became too sore, I could put a rag in, and the rag would conform to the bottom of my foot, and I could walk and wear them like that. And if a rag wasn't available, I'd stick newspaper in or whatever I could find.
Gordon would have to learn to live with the excruciating pain from his condition. But worse still, ulcers began developing, and severe infections started spreading through his feet after he accidentally stepped on a nail. But it was a serious car accident that finally pushed Gordon over the edge. Despondent and isolated, he spiraled into depression.
The pain was so bad after the accident that every morning I woke up, I thought that would be the day that I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
Gordon's road to recovery led him to an orthopedist who designed these large black boots, or as Gordon calls them, his Franken boots.
But it's hard to sit down, it's hard to stand up. I had one taxi driver that as I was walking to the taxi, I bumped this front and fell. She said, "Watching you fall was like watching a tree go down." Just go whoop.
Gordon's new boots gave him some mobility, but he felt like a monster wearing them, uncomfortable out in public. It was years since his first shoemaker had died. There had to be another solution. After many hours letter writing for help and searching the internet, Gordon discovered D-Squared custom footwear in Eagle, Colorado.
These D-Squared people, once they saw my foot and realized that they could help, they stepped up and said, yes, we will.
With help from Ripley's, Gordon makes the trip to Colorado, and the D-Squared team gets to work. His gargantuan feet are first pressed into foam blocks, making detailed impressions. Then, a plaster mold is cast, and the one-of-a-kind shoes are crafted by hand. In a few short weeks, Gordon will have his new shoes.
There's a certain level of anxiety and anticipation that I'm feeling towards the arrival of my new shoes.
His shoes finally arrive, and Gordon couldn't be happier.
When I opened the box and looked at the shoes, my heart was just singing, basically. When I put the insole back in and slipped my foot on, sure enough, every curve, every little height, dimple, everything's there, everything's supported. It feels beautiful.
Look how straight you are. Look in the mirror.
Now, for the first time in his life, Gordon Lee McGuire is walking proud and pain-free. And after 7 years as a recluse, he's blending in with everyone when he ventures outside. And it's giving him the confidence he needs to now start a new life.
When I caught myself somewhat dancing, I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Believe it.
This is a pair of Gordon's modified size 18 Nike sneakers. He chopped off the toes, tore out the tongues, and laid in pieces of cork to pad the soles.